Have you ever wondered why most people never truly succeed in life? Why so many people live the same routine every day, trapped in mediocrity, always dreaming but never doing? Here's the uncomfortable truth. Most people will never succeed, not because they aren't capable, but because they've unknowingly fallen into mental traps that sabotage their potential. They drift through life waiting for the right time. They let fear control their decisions. They surround themselves with the wrong people, choose comfort over growth, and quit when things get tough. And worst of all, they don't even realize they're doing it. But here's the good news. Success is not reserved for a lucky few. It's not about having perfect conditions, special talent, or extraordinary luck. It's about breaking free from the invisible chains that hold most people back. If you can recognize the traps and choose differently, you can change the direction of your entire life. In this video, we're going to break down 7 brutally honest reasons why most people never succeed, and more importantly, how you can escape the trap starting today, because life doesn't get better by chance, it gets better by choice. If you're ready to stop surviving and start thriving, to stop watching others win, and finally take control of your own story, then listen closely. This might be the wake-up call you didn't know you needed. Let's begin. Number 1. They wait for the right time. One of the biggest reasons most people never succeed is because they're constantly waiting for the right time, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting until they have more money, more support, more motivation, more of something. But here's the truth. Most people don't want to hear, the right time will never come. It's an illusion, a lie we tell ourselves to avoid discomfort. It feels safer to say not now than to risk failure. But in doing so, we stay frozen stuck, watching life pass us by. The Stoics taught us that we don't control time. We only control our actions within it. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." In other words, act now, because tomorrow isn't promised, and the longer you wait, the more power fear gains over you. The harsh reality, most people aren't really waiting for the right time. They're waiting to feel ready, but you don't become ready before you act. You become ready by acting. Every successful person you admire once started unprepared. They just chose action over excuses. So if you're telling yourself, one day I'll start that business, or someday I'll get in shape, or eventually I'll leave this toxic relationship, ask yourself, what if someday never comes? Escape the trap. Stop waiting. Start moving. Even the smallest step forward is better than standing still. Success favors the bold, not the perfect. Number 2, they fear failure more than they desire success. Most people claim they want success, but deep down, they fear failure more than they desire to succeed. It's not their ambition that's lacking. It's their ability to face rejection, setbacks, and the judgment of others. The fear of failing paralyzes them. They ask, what if it doesn't work? But they rarely ask, what if it does? And so they stay in their comfort zone, watching opportunities pass by, trapped by the invisible chains of self-doubt. But here's the reality. Every success story is built on failure. Behind every achievement is a long list of mistakes, rejections, and lessons learned the hard way. Thomas Edison failed over 1,000 times before inventing the light bulb. He didn't see it as failure. He called it learning 1,000 ways that didn't work. The Stoics saw failure not as defeat, but as part of life's natural process. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Failure is feedback. It's information. It's your teacher, not your enemy. But most people take failure personally instead of taking it seriously. They let it define them instead of refining them. Escape the trap shift. Your mindset, failure is not the end. It's a painful, necessary step toward mastery. If you can embrace failure without losing your fire, Nothing can stop you. Remember, those who fear failure will never taste true success, and those who conquer it create their own destiny. Number 3, they surround themselves with the wrong people. Success isn't just about discipline, talent, or strategy. It's also about environment, and one of the biggest traps most people fall into is surrounding themselves with the wrong people. You could have massive potential, a clear vision, and solid goals. But if the people around you don't believe in growth, purpose, or progress, eventually you'll stop believing in those things too. Why? Because energy is contagious. Mindsets are contagious. Mediocrity is contagious. When you spend your time with people who constantly complain, gossip, play the victim, and settle for less, you slowly begin to do the same. It doesn't happen overnight. It's subtle, quiet, dangerous, and before you know it, you're shrinking your goals to fit their comfort zone instead of expanding your life to reach your true potential. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "The key is to keep company only with people who uplift you, whose presence calls forth your best. If the people around you aren't challenging you to grow, encouraging your goals, or holding you accountable, then they're holding you back. Whether they mean to or not, escape the trap audit. Your circle, ask yourself, honestly, do these people fuel my growth or drain my energy? You don't need to cut everyone off, but you do need to protect your focus. Spend more time around those who inspire you. Elevate your standards and make you feel like success is not only possible, but expected. Your circle is either your cage or your launch pad. Choose wisely. Number 4, they chase comfort over growth. One of the most silent but deadly traps in life is this. Most people would rather be comfortable than grow. They say they want success, but they avoid the discomfort that success demands. They crave the rewards, but reject the process. Growth is uncomfortable. It requires you to stretch beyond what you know, challenge what you believe, and face things you'd rather ignore. But instead of pushing through the pain, most people retreat to what feels familiar, even if it's slowly destroying them. They stay in dead-end jobs because it's secure. They stay in toxic relationships because it's better than being alone. They keep the same habits because change feels too hard. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of progress. If you live your life trying to avoid discomfort, you'll also avoid greatness. The Stoics embraced discomfort as a path to resilience. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Just as nature takes every obstacle, every impediment, and works around it, so too, the wise person turns every challenge into fuel." That means growth often looks like pain at first, but it's the kind of pain that builds you, not breaks you. Escape the trap. Stop chasing ease, start chasing excellence. When you feel resistance, lean into it. That's often where your breakthrough lives. The gym hurts before it strengthens. The truth stings before it frees. And growth challenges you before it changes. Your comfort might feel good now, but growth creates a life worth living. Number 5, they talk more than they act. Most people don't fail because of a lack of knowledge. They fail because they confuse talking about change with actually making it. They plan, they fantasize. They say things like, "I'm going to start that business," or "Next year I'll change everything." They speak with confidence but take no real steps forward. Talking feels good, it gives a false sense of progress. It tricks the brain into thinking something is happening when in reality nothing is. But here's the truth. Words mean nothing without action. You don't get stronger by talking about going to the gym. You don't build wealth by telling people your goals. You don't grow by writing plans in a notebook and never executing them. The Stoics were brutally clear about this. Epictetus said, "Don't explain your philosophy, embody it." In other words, stop talking, start doing. Because at the end of the day, it's not the loudest voice that wins. It's the most consistent action. It's not how well you speak your dreams. It's how boldly you pursue them. Escape the trap. Make action. Your default setting, set your goals. Break them into daily steps. Execute no matter how small. And let your results speak louder than your words. The world doesn't need more talkers. It needs more doers. Be one of them. Number 6, they don't know what they want. One of the most overlooked reasons people never succeed is this: they don't actually know what they want. They drift through life with vague desires. I want to be rich, I want to be happy, I want to be successful, but they've never sat down to define what those things actually mean for them, so they chase everything and catch nothing. They follow trends, copy others, and end up exhausted pursuing a version of success that was never truly theirs. Clarity is power without it. You're like a ship without a compass, moving but going nowhere meaningful. The Stoics knew this well. Seneca wrote, "If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favourable." In other words, if you don't know your destination, no amount of effort will get you there. This lack of clarity creates frustration, burnout, and eventually giving up. Because without purpose, progress feels empty. Escape the trap, get clear. Ask yourself, what does success actually look like for me? What am I willing to sacrifice for it? What values do I refuse to compromise? Write it down, refine it. Make it so clear that every decision becomes easier, because now you have direction. When you know what you want, you stop being distracted by what you don't. Without vision, people perish, but with clarity, you become unstoppable. Number 7, they give up too soon. Most people don't fail because they're not talented enough or smart enough. They fail because they give up too soon. They expect results overnight. They want success to come quickly and easily, but the moment it gets hard, when things take longer than expected, when progress feels invisible, when no one's cheering them on, they quit. But success doesn't work that way. It's not instant, it's not glamorous, and it doesn't always give you signs that you're on the right path. The Stoics taught us that greatness requires endurance. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." The road to mastery is filled with moments where you'll want to walk away, where doubt creeps in, where you question everything. But the difference between those who make it and those who don't isn't talent, it's grit. The winners keep showing up long after motivation is gone. Every great person you admire has failed, struggled, and wanted to quit. The only reason you know their name is because they didn't escape the trap. Stop expecting the journey to be easy. Expect resistance, expect setbacks, and push forward anyway. Remind yourself, quitting guarantees failure. Perseverance keeps the door open. You don't lose when it gets hard, you lose when you stop.